everybody. It is nearly the end of February, and I wanted to make a video to close off the month and talk a little bit about all the stuff that we did and talk some more about March. Because, I don't know, I've been feeling more like doing these sorts of videos at the beginning of the month and like checking in and letting you know kind of what's coming up, whether it's on Twitch or on YouTube or kind of just whatever is going on for me. February was a lot. It was a big deal kind of month because in February we had the Court of Swords live show, and we had so many episodes of so much role playing, and we ended Nebula Jazz, which is like heavy, and we were going to do the Dungeon World one shot, but then Matt got sick. But rest assured, don't worry everybody, the Blue Jay Run Dungeon World, me, Holly, Nadja, Matt Mercer, Raised from the Dead one shot, still gonna happen. We just need to figure out a new time for it. So don't worry, that'll still happen. But that was on the docket for the month too. So like just so much to plan for and so much stuff going on. Plus we played Secret of Mana and started Into the Breach. We're gonna be playing some new stuff in March. Busy times for Adam. It's been kind of a hard month. Well, there isn't really any other way to say it. My uncle died. I found out right before we started Nebula Jazz. I got a text message from my parents saying that he had died. It wasn't a surprise exactly, because he'd been sick for a while, and I had kind of expected, like you do, I think, that it would be longer. That it would have taken more time, but yeah. So, I don't know, there's no time in which that kind of thing is like good or fine or doesn't feel like fucked up. But I just at the time didn't have any time to process it, and I'm still kind of working through it. And it's important to me, and I mention it now, not just because I think it's important to kind of like know what's going on with me and why I've been so like kind of like busy and had to drop streams and stuff. My uncle, if you've ever heard me talk about role-playing games, if you ever heard me talk about Dungeons and Dragons, you know, people ask me as a first podcast question all the time, hey, how did you get into this? How did you start playing D&D? What's the story there? I always tell them that when I was a kid, when I was like 10, my uncle gave me some AD&D books and some heavy metal magazines, and that's how I got into D&D. That's how I found out that these Forgotten Realms novels I was reading had a game they were based on. I could make up my own stories, and without Brian giving me those books, I would have come to Dungeons and Dragons eventually, you know, like there's pathways through life that you figure you'll probably end up on regardless. But at that time, in that moment, for me, and by extension my friend and my brother and the people around me that played D&D with me, I wouldn't necessarily have gotten there right then, and who knows what would have been different. Right? Maybe I wouldn't have played D&D until I was in college, or maybe I would have come to it real late. Maybe we wouldn't have the things that we have now. Maybe I wouldn't have made Dungeon World. It's a lot. You know, you start to think about kind of how these things are, and your brain spirals a little, and you can go to some confusing or upsetting places. And so I've been having kind of a hard time with it. And I'm working on it. You know, I'm talking to people. I'm processing my feelings like you do when you're a grown up. But I just wanted to let you know, because this is a thing that's been affecting me, and it affects my content. It affects the ability that I have to interact. So yeah, that for me is the big thing for February. You know, Nebula Jazz, Court of Swords live show, all that stuff aside, it sort of paled for me in comparison, obviously, you know, So we're looking forward. We're moving ahead. In February, we played some video games. We played Secret of Mana, the HD remake, which wasn't very good. I did not like it very much. Unfortunately, watch the playthrough. So I'll be releasing that. It should finish mid to late March if you didn't get to watch it on Twitch. Obviously, if you're a subscriber, go check out the VODs on the Twitch channel. So we played that. We played a little bit of FTL developer Subset games. They made FTL. I think that's what they're called. So they made this new game called Into the Breach. It's about giant robots. It feels like FTL, but it feels like they've learned some cool new things. I'm going to have a book by its cover of that game playthrough, the title screen analysis. That'll be up on the channel. Should be up by now by the time you watch this, so check that out. And again, the playthrough is going to be on Twitch. I'm kind of doing that with some games right now. If it's a narrative game with a story that has a start, a middle, and an end, like Secret of Mana, I'll probably put it all up on YouTube. But if you're watching this on YouTube and you're like, where's the Stellaris gameplay? Where's the Into the Breach gameplay? Where's the gameplay for these, like Monster Hunter? They're all on Twitch. So go over and watch it live. If you can't watch it live, that kind of stuff, it doesn't really translate very well to YouTube. So I've decided to just keep it in Twitch on the VODs. We're going to start the month, we probably already have, with a playthrough of Where the Water Tastes Like Wine, which is an indie game that I saw at PAX last year. One of the PAX is East, maybe? Their booth was amazing. It's a game about Americana, and tarot, and Sting is in it. So I'm just checking boxes of shit that's interesting to me. So definitely check that out. And of course, we'll be continuing with Court of Swords and with Burning Wheel. And I've got some new video stuff, some tutorial stuff that we're working on for Roll20. And of course, if you're watching on D&D, you'll be able to keep watching Tomb of Annihilation. There's no conventions or anything in March. I'm going to be away in Seattle a few weekends visiting Blue Jay, but for the most part, we'll be here making content, doing the thing. And if you're interested in the new Stars Without Number campaign that we're doing for Roleplay, let me tell you, right now, we don't have a cast, we don't have a name, but as I have that stuff, I will let you know. Don't worry, JP and I will be all over it. So you'll be able to check that out pretty soon. I've released the first notes in the Patreon, patreon.com/roleplay, the Patreon zine. You can find my first notes there, and I'll be doing lots of GMing streams. I anticipate we'll do a character creation stream, I'll do a sector creation stream, and then a first turn, kind of faction turn to get the game going. All that before the live campaign. So that'll be happening in March and April. I think we want to get the game up and running in April, if it's possible, but JP's moving and there's all this chaos right now, so we'll get that sorted out. That's pretty much it. I'm going to just keep doing what I'm doing. Thank you so much for watching, for supporting. Obviously, the views are what matters. The fact that you have your butt in your seat, or you're on the bus looking at your phone or wherever, and you're watching the videos. That's what matters to me. But if you want to support the channel, the best way to do so is throw a YouTube subscription here, but even more so, pop over to twitch.tv/Adam Koebel and hit that little subscribe button on there. That is what pays my bills, keeps me doing this thing, and allows me to make content for you. So yeah, thanks for coming, everybody, and we'll see you again next time on the stream, but we'll do another check-in at the end of March, and we'll talk about what's coming in April. Bye for now, my friends.